Okay. You can.
Yes. So thank you so much to the entire team of Ganjam Chamber of Commerce, the workforce behind the design of so many programs over the last month or so. You have been indulging in different sort of activities to keep the brain ticking. So today's my mandate is to talk to you about lifestyle. Actually, I'm not going to tell about only in Corona times. I'm going to tell you in general what are the things that we need to look at. In our materialistic world, we all have been seen to give importance to our exterior positions, but I would request all of you to be your architect of your interior design or your health, so that we all know health is wealth, and we should be having good health for us to have a satisfied soul, which will go on to prosper in every walk of life. So this next picture is basically to tell you that lifestyle disorders are burgeoning in prevalence. They are sparing none, irrespective of the caste, creed, age, religion, sex, and everything. So we all are supposed to take care of our health. So this is just on a lighter vein. I'm just here to tell you how you are going to engineer your life so that you lead a very happy and healthy life. So all these lifestyle related disorders predominantly stem from one basic condition, that is called as obesity, we all know. And the standard parameter to know obesity or the normal weight status is the BMI, which must be known to most of you, which is body mass index. It is calculated as weight in kg divided by height in meter square. Then you can see in the slide there are two columns. On your left there is the World Health Organization guidelines, which says normal BMI is between 18.5 to 24.9. More than 25 it is overweight. More than 30 you are labeled as obesity. Now please shift your focus to Indian guidelines. So there is a glaring difference which can be easily noticed. The normal weight is 18 to 22.9, that is the BMI. 23 to 24.9 is overweight. So the threshold of overweight for Westerners is 25, for Indians it is 23. And threshold for obesity for Westerners is 30, whereas in Indians it is 25. You may think why it is so low. So this basically tells us that compared to Westerners, Asians in general and we Indians in particular tend to develop obesity related complications at a much less weight, at a much less age. This is thanks to one hypothesis which you all can Google out later on, that is YNY hypothesis, which basically tells us that compared to Westerners at same weight, we tend to have more of fat, and that is predominantly central in region, that is our belly region contains more of fat. This is related to some Barker hypothesis, some say Y&Y hypothesis. So we Indians are called as thin looking, metabolically obese phenotypes. That means even if we are slim, we tend to develop all these obesity related disorders at a younger age and with more number of complications as well. And I'm going to tell you about a very simple formula how we are going to calculate the ideal body weight. Again, not an unknown factor. Your height in centimeter minus 100, plus minus 10% in men and plus minus 15% in women. So if your height is 165 centimeter, minus 100 is 65 kg, that is the standard one for both males and females, plus minus 10% for males and plus minus 15% for females. And if some of you are very much tech savvy and energy conscious, then you can calculate your normal calorie requirement in the formula, that is 30 calorie of ideal body weight per kg. So if your weight is 65 into 30, that comes to around 1950 calories per day. But I'm not going to talk to you about underweight people, but for overweight people, the calorie calculation is 25 calorie per kg into ideal body weight. Let's take an example of somebody is having weight of 165. So his ideal body weight is 165 minus 100 is 65 kg, but his current weight is 75 kgs. That means he is overweight. In that case, his calorie requirement should be 25 into ideal body weight, that is 65. So this is the simple formula. So I'm not going to tell you much about the formula and all. So this picture you all must have seen n number of times. This is the famous evolution what Darwin has taught us. So it took us 2.5 million years to achieve this state of Homo sapiens. This is a very precious life, but we tend to forget its importance, sit idle in front of TV, and you can see we tend to develop a tummy bulge. And this God is not unknown to us. He is no prizes for the guessing. He is Laughing Buddha or Gautam Buddha. We all know from our standard study days that gods always look very slim, trim, and very handsome. But there is a funny reason attached to this particular gentleman. Why is he obese? Because first of all, he is sitting, he is not doing any exercise, and he is being preyed predominantly in countries like China. So probably he is binging a lot of Chinese foods that has led to his obesity. So the allurement to food can actually give rise to obesity even in gods. So we have to be very careful about that. And most of us are aware of this particular terminology, weapon of mass destruction, which was predominantly used by George W. Bush when he was trying to invade Kuwait. But in these days, so the food in front of you, which contains more than 1,000 calories, is the weapon of mass destruction, which can give rise to a whole array of disorders in anyone. And again, you must have seen again this one also. So I just tried to incorporate some of the funny pictures, how we have evolved. 1989, TVs were bulky and people were slim, but in 2009, as the years are progressing, the TVs are getting slimmer and people are getting obese. So that's the negative trend which we do not want to see. And the laziness has characteristically seeped into our lifestyle since long ago. This again is one more joke, that though the Supreme Court bars us from making any jokes on Sardar, just a funny note, 2 days of power cut in Delhi had made life miserable, and worst affected was Delhi metro station, where families of Santa and Banta were stuck for 48 hours on escalators. They didn't even mind to come down on their own and start their work. So that's just to showcase how lazy we have become. So predominantly, we all are talking about overnutrition. So we are all supposed to cut down on our diet, even if we are normal weight, to take care of this metabolic obesity phenotype. So I'm going to tell you all a beautiful exercise by doing which you will not be able to take more food. So ready for that? So here comes the exercise. If someone offers you food, turn your head to left, turn your head to right. Again, turn your head to left, turn your head to right. By doing this, you are saying, no, I don't want food. So you have to politely decline someone's request to have food if you are full. Don't take it just for the sake of taking it. So lifestyle, I am going to take subsequent 20 odd minutes where I am going to tell you about these 4 components: the diet, exercise, sleep, and proper relaxation. That will actually take care of your life in a form of entirety. So about nutrients, there are 2 types of nutrients. First one is macronutrient on your left, which contains carbohydrate, fat, and protein. Micronutrients, these are the vitamins and minerals. I'm not going to talk about that much because these are not needed for a healthy population. This is only required whenever there is a state of exhaustion due to some chronic disorders like a long-term history of fever, long-term history of kidney, heart, liver-related condition. In fact, diabetics also, hypertensive, those who have cholesterol problem, they do not require any vitamin as a routine supplement. So what should be the distribution? Carbohydrates should constitute 55 to 60%, fat 20 to 30%, protein 10 to 15%. That's the basic formula. So if we talk about the carbohydrate, these are divided into 2 forms. First of all, the simple carbohydrate. The second one is complex carbohydrate. The simple carbohydrate, whoever belongs to biology genre, they will understand there are the simplest form of glucose called monosaccharides and disaccharides. These are directly sweet to taste. they can be easily absorbed, they can increase the blood sugar rapidly on a very short span of time, and they can give rise to sudden increase in your body energy levels. So the simple carbohydrates include all those sweet stuff, any sweet items, sweetened beverages, cold drink, chocolate, ice cream, and fruit juice also. So we are supposed to cut down on these simple carbohydrates as much as possible. The simple formula to remember is whichever tastes sweet to you, those are simple carbohydrates. And on top of that, fruit juice is again a big no. This would be a surprise to many, I understand. Again, the soft drinks, it's a very known factor to them, but fruit juice, the basic problem is one person is supposed to take probably 1 or 2 or 3 fruit a day. But in the contrary, if you take fruit juice, to prepare 1 glass of fruit juice, you will be requiring 4 to 5 fruits, contrary to the requirement of 2 to 3 fruits a day. On top of that, to make it tastier, there will be more of addition of sugar to it, and there will be extraction of fiber. So what happens is when you take fruit juice, whatever glucose is there, it gets simply absorbed. If you take a whole fruit, the glucose will be tasted as sweet by your tongue, but the fiber present in the fruit will make sure it is not absorbed properly. So fruit juice is a big no, cold drink is big no. We all know the reasons, but some people who are very fond of cold drink, then they can take Diet Pepsi and Diet Coke. Then the complex carbohydrates, which includes polysaccharides, starch and dietary fiber. The starch is present in, you can see on left half of yours, the rice, potato, maida, all these are starchy items. Potato can be taken. Actually, I'm going to tell you one concept of resistant starch. What they do is they cook the potato in the before night and they store it overnight in the refrigerator. Morning they take out from the fridge, let it come to room temperature on its own and then consume. It is called as resistant starch. The carbohydrate present in such form of starch doesn't get easily absorbed and your sugar doesn't go up. And then there are these three are the starchy items. On your right hand side, these are the fiber items. So these are again carbohydrates which are not absorbed, so that the energy accumulation is not there. On top of that, they give rise to easy bowel movements, so constipation is cleared. They keep your stomach full so that you won't feel hunger for a pretty long period of time. Those are oats, vegetable, pulp of fruits, wheat, bran, and others. And lot many times, even in healthy people or in diabetic people, there is a big question whether we should take roti or rice. Most of us tend to believe that rice should be abandoned and we should shift over to roti because it is predominantly associated with diabetes. Let me give you one data from recent ICMR INDIAB study, which was a study conducted to look at prevalence of diabetes in different states of the country. And you will be surprised to know the highest prevalence of diabetes was found in roti consuming states. Those are Haryana followed by Punjab. So ultimately the conclusion is that both roti and rice, both of them, they contain carbohydrate. Both are equally good or equally dangerous. So you need not stop taking rice to shift over to roti. You can take rice, but whoever finds it convenient, they should ideally switch over to parboiled rice or brown rice. Again, doctor says use a bicycle and cut the carbohydrates so that you will remain fit. So this is not a way to use the bicycle and cut the carbs, so that you will be breaking the pizza into smaller portions which can be gulped in easily. So next I'm coming to the protein portion. Protein is a very neglected part of food, which is especially found in Indian context, because most of our southern, western and northern counterparts are predominantly vegetarian. I'm going to share one picture with all of you, maybe any one of you who can put it across to others, which says around 55 to 60% of Indian regions are predominantly vegetarian. And protein is a very important source to maintain your strength. Normal requirement is 10 to 15% of total calorie, or a simple formula is 1 gram per kg body weight. If you have additional problems like liver, kidney and heart, then maybe you need to reduce it to 0.1 gram per kg body weight. So there are two sources of protein. First one is complete or class 1 source. You can see all the non-vegetarian food and the milk. So the advantage of taking this class of a protein is it contains all the essential amino acids, predominantly the aromatic amino acids. If someone is from biology genre, they will understand phenylalanine and tyrosine. There are vegetarian foods as well, which are called as class 2 sources or incomplete. These are the legumes, pulses and cereals. So for a healthy person to have normal intake of protein, which will maintain the normal muscular strength, normal bone function, it is stated that at least 50% of the requirement of protein should come from class 1 or the non-vegetarian protein. So vegetarians, they tend always to lose. So fat, it should be contributing to 20 to 30%. So this is a busy slide, but what I'm going to tell you is the fat intake should predominantly be from unsaturated fat. Those are monounsaturated fat 20% and 10% from polyunsaturated fat. I'm going to tell you the sources. The saturated fat, the trans fat and the cholesterol, these are the three things which should be reduced in quantity. So monounsaturated fatty acid is found in, I'm going to tell you 3 or 4 practical examples. Olive oil, which is not very frequently used, groundnut oil, rice bran oil and mustard oil. So olive oil, groundnut oil, rice bran oil and mustard oil. The polyunsaturated fatty acids again are of 2 types, omega 6 and omega 3. These are sunflower, safflower, soya bean. So actually in all the advertisements that you see, you will see a cardiologist or a patient recommending you to take PUFA, polyunsaturated fatty acid, but the predominant intake should be 20% should be from MUFA, half of that should be from PUFA. And the reason I inquired during my study days, where one famous cardiologist was promoting PUFA, I asked him, sir, we know that MUFA is better one, then why it is so? So he said, the cost of production, maybe you people would know better than me, the cost of production for PUFA is lesser. And omega-3 fatty acids are found in nuts, then rajma, mustard oil, soybean oil. So these are the two things. The saturated fat and trans fat are the things which are to be not taken or to be taken in a very restricted quantity. In fact, I am planning to hand over this PowerPoint to one of you so that you can share it amongst yourselves. So I'm not going to go through the entire list. So fry shapes, we all know the triceps. These are the fry shapes. If you take, I'm going to tell you all those fried items are the ones, especially when you cook a particular item and it oily item, and when you recook it and reheat it, rather reheat it, the fat gets converted from cis fat to trans fat, which has got more detrimental effect on your heart. And these are the foods rich with cholesterol, fast food, liver, fatty meat, eggs, cream, butter and cheese. So these are the things which should be less than 100 grams a day. And oil quantity, I am going to the next slide. This is the quantity which you need to look at. 0.6 kg per month per person. If you are non-diabetic, non-hypertensive, you can increase it to 0.7 or 700 milliliter per month per person. So as I stated, the MUFA oil, monounsaturated fatty acid oil, those are there in olive oil, groundnut oil, rice bran oil and the mustard oil. These are the MUFA, monounsaturated fatty acid. On your right hand side is the PUFA, polyunsaturated fatty acid, the sunflower, safflower and everything. So I said 20 and 10, 20% MUFA, 10% PUFA. So it should be 2:1. So in our study books, it says you take a 1 liter bottle, 2/3 of it should be filled by one of the oils having MUFA on your left, and 1/3 should have the oil on your right, that is the PUFA. But actually, practically what we see is that there is an alteration in taste. So what we tell our patient is, you can have two oil cans in your house, one can containing MUFA, one can containing PUFA. So what actually you can do is, alternate weeks you can use MUFA and PUFA, so that at least 50-50 of both the oils that goes into your body. And meal planning, this is very important slide, the most important slide I would say. To have a sense of full stomach, there are 3-4 senses. The first sense is visual sensation. So it is always told that you try to have smaller sized plates and make it full. If the eyes see that I'm taking a plate full, even if the content is less, the stomach is going to fill full. So first point is, have a smaller sized plate. More than half of it should be vegetables and fruits, maybe predominantly vegetables. The carbohydrate, the rice or roti, it should be 1/4, and protein again should be 1/4. So probably we need to turn our plates other way around, because our plates predominantly contain carbohydrate. We take less of protein and vegetables. So this again, you all must have seen what you need to take more. You need to take more protein, vegetable and salad. Then complex carbohydrate means rice, roti, and aloo and vegetables, and fruits and berries. So these are the healthy eating pattern. So, and one more very important factor associated with diet intake is, there is a study which clearly tells us that if same amount of calorie is taken by two different persons of having similar BMI, one is taking at 6:30 or 7 p.m. at night, and one is taking later at night. And the studies have clearly shown, the group of people who are taking later at night, they would tend to develop obesity more in spite of taking same amount of calories. This is again related to some of the hormones that are secreted the next day morning. So it is always good to have your main dinner as early as possible. Maybe you can add a nighttime snack. I don't know how far it is practical for most of us, but I'm going to tell you the science. So exercise, we all know what is its importance. It reduces weight, it improves your bone and muscle strength, it reduces blood pressure, the cholesterol, the blood sugar. On top of that, it helps relieving the mental stress as well. How I'm going to tell you. There is a fixed blood volume in our body, that is to the tune of 4.5 liters. If you exercise more, the blood will be diverted to the exercising muscles, and the thinking area of the brain will receive less of blood. So thinking area will function less, and your stress becomes less. So these are number of benefits, like reducing diabetes, heart disease, osteoarthritis, breast cancer, depression, dementia, the colon cancer, fall. So all these are scientific benefits attached to it. But what exactly is happening? If you go to any airport, there would be a long queue for the escalators, but there would be no takers for the stairs. So from next time onwards, I want to see the fit mass of the Ganjam Chamber of Commerce to take the stair route. And on top of that, you want to get into a fitness center to do exercise, but to attract people, the fitness center has to introduce 2 escalators at its entry point. So that again is a something which is not to be cheering about. So exercises are 3 types. I'm going to take another 5-7 minutes, that's all. Exercises are of 3 types. Aerobic exercise are the ones where your body is changing its position, like walking, running, swimming, jumping, etc. Anaerobic, here the body doesn't move a bit, but these are muscle strengthening exercise, like you're lifting a dumbbell, doing sit-ups, and back strengthening exercises, leg strengthening exercises, all those. Yoga is a form of flexibility exercise. So these are 3 forms of exercise, and science says to get benefit out of these lifestyle related disorders like diabetes, hypertension, and heart, the predominant form of exercise should be aerobic exercise, where your body changes its position. In other words, the gym people will say it is a cardiac exercise. Anaerobic exercise is important. It should be done at least 3 times a day, 3 times a week, 10 minutes per session. And this is basically to increase the strength of your muscles and bones so that you would be staying stronger in your later life. Yoga is a softer form of flexibility exercise. Yes, there are some studies which say that it reduces sugar, blood pressure and all, but mostly the science says yoga is to alleviate your stress and give you a depression-free life. And in the current era of COVID, there are some in-house exercises. The links are mentioned over there. I'm going to anyhow share the PPT. If you want, you can click on that. So these are the aerobic exercises which we all have talked about. And what is the duration of exercise that should be done? This is about the cardiovascular health. That means the cardiac or aerobic exercises. 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, and it should be at a brisk pace. Brisk means at a pace by which you tend to develop breathlessness, palpitation, and at the end of such walk, if someone asks you your name, you shouldn't be able to tell your name also. So 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, and these 30 minutes need not be in a continuous basis. If you do not have time, 15 minutes 2 times or 10 minutes 3 times, that also is sufficient. And for late risers like me, thankfully the God has taken out the clause of early morning walk. You can walk at any point of the time. But some people who can do it at a more vigorous pace, you can see the lower one, 25 minutes per day, 3 days a week. And what is the intensity that I'm going to tell you subsequently? This is the intensity. So there is something called maximum heart rate. If you go to gym, on your appliances, this formula would be there. Maximum heart rate is 220 minus age. If someone says is 50, 220 minus 50 is 170. So target heart rate is for moderate exercise intensity, it should be 50 to 70% of that 170. 220 minus 50 is 170. So 70% of 170, roughly around 109 or 110, 119, sorry, 119. So that should be the heart rate which you should achieve. With this heart rate, you should continue exercising for 30 minutes, 5 days a week. If you can reach the heart rate of beyond 70%, you can see the vigorous exercise intensity, that can be okay, 25 minutes a day, 3 days a week. So these are difficult formula to remember, but who are into gym, they find it very easy to remember. But simple thing is 30 minutes a day, 2 or 3 times a day, at a speed at which you develop palpitation, breathlessness, and at the end of such exercise, you should not be able to tell your name also. That is important. And there are no easier and faster tracks to get success. Yes, here you can see 2 people probably going on to achieve more than 6 packs in a minute, but that's not going to help you. And it has to be very regular also. Again, one more funny picture. If you do only once in a year to showcase yourself to people, it is not going to help you in reducing the weight. Again, many people say that the lifestyle disorders, I am not at fault. This is because my family members are affected and they have passed on this to me. So this gentleman is saying diabetes runs in your family because nobody runs in your family. And this man was advised to spend 30 to 45 minutes a day in treadmill, but this is not the way of spending your time in treadmill. You have to really work on that. And there are some indoor exercises also, like stretching legs, marching in a plane, standing up, and workout with a water bottle, lifting the sky, punching in the air, and pushing desk or wall. These are some exercises which you should ideally do when you are in your routine work front, so that it keeps your body charged up. So another 2-3 slides I'm going to take. Last, very important is sleep hygiene. So a normal person should have at least unhindered 7 to 7.5 hours of night sleep. So these are some formula, like avoiding stimulants such as caffeine and nicotine. Tea, coffee, smoking, all those things should be avoided close to bedtime. And some people believe alcohol intake actually potentiates sleep. That is true. But in second half of night, if you take alcohol, the second half of night becomes bit difficult, because during that time the alcohol gets metabolized. Exercise, as I have already told you, promotes good quality sleep. There are some types of food which disrupt the the sleep before, if you take it immediately before sleep. Those are the spicy foods, the oily foods, aerated drinks, the citrus fruits. These are the things to be avoided. Very important fourth point is ensuring adequate exposure to natural light. Where our body has a diurnal biological clock. When you expose yourself to sun and then to night, the body, there is a hypothalamus in our body which senses that the light or the rays are changing, so I need to produce more of melatonin, which is a natural sleep inducing agent. So if you are indoors throughout the day, the body would not perceive the difference between rays outside and inside. Establishing a regular relaxing time routine, a particular time you should go, and making sure that sleep environment is pleasant. That again is important. Very important point is after 9:30 or 10, one is not supposed to look at the Blu-ray emitting screens like the mobile, the laptop, the TV and all, which disrupts your TV sleep pattern. And it is always better to have something which fascinates you, like reading a book or going for a walk, which will actually induce good sleep. And lastly, I'm going to talk about the humans are social animals. Sometimes back when I visited my brother at Abu Dhabi, we together went to a very big mall, and I said, this is so good. Anyone can spend his time to an unlimited amount. But then what he said was, yes, probably for a day or two, but after 2-3 days, what matters is your friends and family with whom you will be enjoying. So try to be social, take a break from your work, and try to have a trip to some places. And there should be a coterie of close friends who should not mind if you talk nonsense, if you talk irrelevant, but that should give you the opportunity of venting your heart out. It's very important. You should be able to take yourself back to your school or college days, and nobody is going to mind what you are talking. And try to reduce the time spent alone, because nowadays everybody is trying to spend more of time with mobiles. So in these times also try to spend time with your family or talk to your friends instead of only indulging in mobile. There was a joke sometimes back that parents are saying to a kid, why don't you go out and have some exercise and then come back. He says, just send me the link over WhatsApp, I will just go through that. And we should have a dedicated time to live our passion, like one who sings, one who writes, one who reads. So make out some part of your time throughout the day to do this, which will actually give you relaxation and have loads of fun. So in these COVID times, you will be coming across lot many things. So try to talk to, I understand you all are related to some or other doctor in some or other way, or you can approach me also. So don't try to go through this COVID related news very much time and again, which would unnecessarily stress you. Some people think of the green tea, especially the ladies. By drinking green tea, I would be reducing my weight. And if you look at Shraddha Kapoor, she gives us very fine expression after having a sip of green tea. But again, a joke from internet. I have finally realized that the only way to lose weight from green tea is if you go to the mountain and pick up the leaves, pluck the leaves, dry it, make it powder, and then drink it. So, bina kostare krishna midante nahi. So, with that, I would rest my presentation. If there are any questions, I would like to answer them. I will just stop sharing the screen.
Thank you, Dr. Sunil Kota. Excellent presentation. Beautiful, very, very necessary inputs to all of my members of Ganjam Chamber of Commerce. Really badly needed for everyone to lead just a good family life with a good health. Really, You're a very supporting personality for Chamber of Commerce, and really, very, very thanks a lot for a beautiful presentation. Really required. Thank you. Now, with your due request, can we go for a question and answer session with if you permits? No problem.
Yes, yes. Actually, there are few questions in the chat box. Can I
Okay,
read
okay.
that and then let you know the
Yeah,
answer?
yeah.
That will be good.
Okay, please go ahead.
Sir,
Go ahead.
Mr. Khirabdi Patra from Aska asks, as a patient, at what time can I call you over phone nowadays? So I will send that information to you personally over that. So actually, generally, I am now talking in the morning times only, because other times I am busy with all these corona related works only, because lot many patients are getting affected, and most of the times I am engaged tackling the anxiety arising there out of. Santosh Kumar sir says PPT. Yes, I will share the PPT with Santosh Kumar sir, so that every one of you can get access to it actually. So Mr. Chaudhary Battery, he says, as there is a climate change in every home nowadays, we are suffering from fever and cold. What are the symptoms of COVID? We will know. Please answer. Okay. And parents are forcing to have a COVID test. Please suggest how to tackle this situation. So the practical answer to this question is, during these times, even if it is a common cold, you can take the risk of treating yourself by routine standard means of using azithromycin, the standard anti-cold drug, for 2 to 3 days at home. At the same time, isolate yourself from others, thinking it to be a corona case only. But if you are not improving over a period of 3 to 4 days, it is always better to go and get yourself tested. But these times, it will always be good if you go for testing at the outset itself, because we all have been discussing with everyone around that the tests are not coming to us real time, so we should not take it lightly. Maybe any particular cold and cough like symptoms, start treating, but don't hesitate to test yourself. And the main demerit of this corona is the amount of stress it creates. It is treatable in 98% of cases, but the amount of stress that they inherit at the outset of diagnosis of corona, that is a major toll. So don't hesitate, please go. Most of the cases, you will be a mild or a moderate case, which will be very easily treated. The stress which it generates is main problem statement. So start treating yourself, but don't hesitate to go for treatment. Mr. Ravi Chaudhary, sir, we are pure vegetarian. How to get more protein? So convert yourself to non-vegetarian and invite us. Then we will tell you what are the sources. Then, okay, okay. So actually, the answer is the vegetarians to have good source of protein, especially the soya. Soya is the one which contains almost 90% of what the non-vegetarian foods contain. Soya can be available in form of the seeds. It can be available in that mansa bodi joda kuhanti. And then tofu is also nowadays available, if I'm not wrong. Those are the things which you can take. Then paneer and milk related items. So if you look at the class 1 proteins, amongst those, one of the option is again milk. So milk, take more. That also will take care of your protein requirement. But anyhow, whatever you do, you will definitely fall short of those who are taking non-veg. That's why you would probably, this is one of the reasons why we Indians tend to have less muscle mass and less bone mass compared to the Westerners. Mr. Khirab, yes, I will get that to you. Shankar Majhi sir is asking how stress will lose during lockdown. Yes, actually, that's what I've been saying. Don't stay alone. Talk to your friends, talk to your family, talk nonsense. Don't talk to those group of people where you need to be formal all the time. You cannot go on smiling, talking to each and everyone. So please talk to those silly idiot friends of yours who won't mind listening to your all those rubbish. That is very important. And stay together, like playing a Ludo. That's what we all have been also doing back here at home. Watch, you are not, you can watch actually TVs, but try to spend time with your family and friends. That's more important. T. Dharmendra Kumar, Saffola gold or this type of refined oils are good for health or not? So actually, I have told you the predominant crux. The requirement is around half a liter per person per month. Out of this, 2/3 should be monounsaturated fatty acid, which is present in rice bran oil, olive oil, groundnut oil, and mustard oil. And 1/3 should be from the PUFA, which has Saffola, Sundrop, soya oil, and all those things. B. Swarajya Subudhi sir, in a day, how many times should we take permitted food from permitted food? Yes, actually, very importantly, one factor I told you that do not take it at very late at night. That is very important to stay away from all the hormone imbalance states. And one very important thing is probably you can take smaller chunks at more frequent times. That will actually reduce the amount of load which it is going to put on your metabolic system. Achha, did I miss some questions? Yes, and this. How accurate is the blood sugar test machine which is available in the market? Is that reliable? And the second is, does oximeter reading 95 to 100 prove corona negative? That's a very important question. Actually, we all have been debating. Ranjit sir was there, Santosh sir was there. We all were talking, asking commissioner to make the oximeters available. So first of all, the glucometers. Very importantly, the glucometers measure your capillary blood glucose at the fingertip. But whatever blood glucose values that glucose or the larger vessels, or your at the hand flexion of your hand and the back of your palm, all those things are venous blood. So the capillary blood glucose will only be reliable in those cases who require multiple times of insulin, those who are pregnant, those who are younger children having type 1 diabetes. So for the ones who are elderly diabetics and are taking oral tablets, it is always better to go for once in a month lab based venous blood glucose. There is a technique to calibrate the glucometers periodically, probably once in 2-3 months, but those calibration techniques are even not available in places like Delhi or Mumbai. So it is always better to restrict their use only for the selected population, those who have frequent insulin injection requirement, those who are pregnant, those who are young kids, those are. For the ones who are taking normal tablets, adult type 2 diabetes, it is always better to rely on your venous blood glucose levels. And does oximeter? Yes, actually, the oximeter, how it helps you. Let us discuss that. So the corona has 4 forms. Asymptomatic, you will not come to know. Mild means it will be like any routine cold and flu-like symptoms with normal oxygen, that is 95 to 100. If it is moderate, the oxygen saturation is between 90 to 94. If it is below 90, it is called severe. So the normal oxygen will be present around 80 to 85% of patients. So that will not rule out the COVID. But if the oxygen levels are gradually coming below 94 on a consistent basis, that is a point where you need to act fast and go to the hospital. And very importantly, I want to take out the fear from most of your people mind that oxygen, even if it goes down, if you go to the hospital timely and take oxygen for a critical period of, some require it for 3 days, some require for 7 days, maximum I have seen for 12 to 14 days, then the virus clearance is done by your body on its own. And during that active state of virus infection, you are supporting by giving oxygen from outside. So if it is consistently below 94 or 90, please take medical opinion, go to hospital. Nothing to worry. Normal oxygen, the cylinder supply will also help you like anything. Then, sir, as most of us are home, is skipping a good option? Yes, skipping is a very good option, but not for the ones who are into the advanced stage of life, because it will create unnecessary pressure on your knees. But if you are able to do it, it is always good. But if there is even a slightest pain or discomfort in the knee, please try to avoid this. What about the benefits of alcohol, tobacco, gutka intake on health? Kindly advise. So there are no benefits. Yes, actually, alcohol does protect from your heart disorders. To some extent, it reduces your uh, uh, cholesterol levels also. But problem is that if you generalize this statement to everyone, one who is alcoholic, he is not going to listen to you. So if you take 1 or 2 pegs, probably 1 peg a day or 2 pegs once in 2 days, that is always welcome. But what we see predominantly is that it is not getting strictly adhered to. Tobacco and gutka, never, not even a single bite. C. Ravindranath, oils you were suggesting means filtered or refined? Probably I don't know answer to this, but maybe someone else can answer. What is the difference between filtered and refined? I do not know. I can only tell you the source. I do not know what is the difference between that. So much of baldness you are facing, Ramesh Jam. So what do you happens? How it can be avoided? Baldness. So probably wrong question to me. It cannot be avoided. It can be taken care of in early stage by taking some hair vitamins, but most of the times it fails. But nowadays there are very good hair transplantation techniques which are very well available, but those are very costly procedures. To avoid it, probably proper sleep, proper proteinaceous food, proper vitamin intake. Those are the things for that I can say. Mr. Suman Sabat asks, my blood sugar level is fasting 133 and after food is 163, and I'm not taking any medicines. You need not take also. The one thing is fasting should be ideally below 120, after food should be ideally below 160. But if you are consistently maintaining this without any tablets, you can go on with the diet and exercise pattern what you are following. But once in 6 months, you please do the HbA1c, which is a marker of your sugar control over last 3 months. So if it is consistently above 7, then you may need to start any drug intake. Actually, one more thing is, I have 2 videos, one on diabetes during corona and plain diabetes. Again, that also I'm going to share with Babul sir and Santosh sir. You can maybe circulate this amongst your group members. Okay. Filtered or refined, I'm not sure what does that mean. Exercise and yoga, which one is more effective for corona? As you told that relief from stress is more important, yoga and meditation will get you stress free. Yes, actually yoga is very important when it matters to stress related things. But when it relates to lifestyle related disorders like diabetes, hypertension, though yoga has some studies in favor, but predominantly the studies are there since long. I can say from probably 7-8 decades in favor of aerobic exercise. So to get control of your blood pressure, diabetes and sugar, yoga plus exercise. But to be stress free, yoga comes first, then the routine exercises will come. Acha, there is another question from Nageshwar Rao sir. What are the maximum values of FPS and PPBS before sugar and after sugar, safer for long time diabetic patient around 50 years and above? So the target is for anyone and everyone, ideally the fasting should be below 150, after food should be below 160. But one who is very young or one who is very elderly, one who has a very long duration of diabetes, more than 10 years, one who has other compounding ailments like kidney, heart and liver problems, the targets are a bit more relaxed. Fasting can be up to 140, after food can be up to 190 also. What should be the pulse when to worry? It is a difficult question. Actually, pulse normally is around 66 to 84, 90 also it is normal. but the same pulse rate can be bad for a person who is having underlying heart disease. So pulse rate directly reflecting to any disease is not that common, because most of these stressful situations per se would also give rise to increase in heart rate. Like if I'm going to appear for exams, if I'm going to appear for any stressful condition, without any disease state also pulse will go up. So that probably is not a good indicator of your severity of any disease. Rather, in your corona also, what they have looked at is your oxygen saturation and respiration rate. Those two are important. What is herd immunity? अच्छा, herd ओडिया रे अर्थ होची पल. हम जो मेंढा पल को sheep herd बोली कहंती. माने herd immunity means when around probably 60 to 65% of people will have this COVID-19 infection or any infection, that is called herd immunity. माने बहुत जन लोक द्वारा इन्फेक्शन हेगला, से समस्त द्वारा एही इन्फेक्शन विरुद्ध स्पेसिफिक एंटीबॉडी तयारी हैला, सो दैट आउ बेसी मात्रा रे से कोरोना टा स्प्रेड होने. बट इन इंडियन सेटअप इट इज एब्सोल्युटली अनअचीवेबल. आपण जदी गतकाल रो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया रो जदी स्टेटमेंट सुनिथिबे, इट इज absolutely undoable in India. Patnala Nageshwar, person with COVID positive in early July, now released from hospital. Will it affect his movements in common place? बहुत important question. Actually, हमरो दीटा पद होची isolation and quarantine. तारो जो starting letter is self-explanatory. Isolation means I know that I have COVID. For them, the isolation word is applied. Quarantine means there is a question whether I am exposed to COVID or not. ତେଣୁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଯଦି ଲାଗୁଛି ଏଇ କେସରେ ଆପଣ already is called COVID positive, he is getting discharged, so he should follow up isolation. The current guidelines is starting from day of testing 10 days, and at the end of 10 days there should not be any fever for consecutive 24 hours. That is the current guideline. ଆଉ जो मानकर सिवियर केस, जो मानकर वेंटिलेटर दरकार होची, जो माने शॉक को जागी रिकवर होचनी, ए जो 10 days नाही, that stretches to 20 days followed by no fever for at least 24 consecutive hours. So जने early July माने it is already end of July, so no need in his restriction. But at the end of isolation also you are supposed to follow the social distancing guidelines. This is known for everyone, not only for the COVID positive patients. Chinmoy Sakpathian, practically which is best one, vegetarian person or non-vegetarian person to fight with corona-like disease and all? So no clear-cut answer. It all depends on individual immunity. So probably I don't have answers for that. Sir, is it handy? Saka Srikant. Sir, is it handy? Oxygen helpful at the time of emergency? Yes. Yes, that's what I said. Jodi apanଙ୍କର COVID-19 detect heichi, go on checking your saturation once in probably 4 hours or 6 hours. जदि 94 रु अधिक रोचे किसी व्यस्त बार नहीं, जदि थरे भी 94 रु कम आसी गोटे रीडिंग को व्यस्त नहीं, if it is consistently below 94, then you need to think about. Ramesh Jamula sir, how it helps steam inhale in COVID times? Actually एगुडा कहूची कोन WhatsApp forward videos. I do not have scientific answer to give to you that, but whatever is hot, at least it will do no harm to you. That's what I can say. But whether it protects us from corona, we do not have definite evidence. S. Durga Prasad sir is asking, fully recovered corona patient, will they have any threat of repetition of corona? Very, very important question. Actually, ଆମର कोरोना थ हैला माने हमर जो एंटीबॉडी तयारी होची लॉन्ग टर्म प्रोटेक्शन पे, देयर इज एन एंटीबॉडी कॉल्ड IgG एंटीबॉडी, गंजाम फॉर G. Okay, so IgG is generally found in people for up to 70 to 90 days, जति की स्टडीज कोची. So probably these antibodies will protect you for a period of 70 to 90 days only, but after that again you are prone. जो वैक्सीन अछि तार कांसेप्ट होची एही एंटीबॉडी को we can make it for a longer duration. So vaccine will only give you long-term protection, but these once infected, probably after 2.5 to 3 months, again you are prone to develop infection, but hopefully that thing will not be there, my personal opinion. Can you please tell us the accurate pathology labs available? Shiva Shankar Sahu sir, as we are getting different reading. Oh, actually most of the labs, if you are talking about blood sugars, I can say 99% of the labs are accurate. I do not say no to any one of them, but There are few labs what I find with difficulty is that keeps on changing. So probably the best person to tell you is your doctor who is going to tell you. He would be having experience on that. Azithromycin course for corona ho ki non corona related upper respiratory tract infection re once daily before breakfast or before any food for 5 days, not more than that. Some people can stretch it if the fever is persisting, but 5 days is more than enough. Corona patient, what do you suggest? Naturopathy and Ayush prescription. Actually, ebe kono amaro allopathy bi there is no strong medicine. Naturopathy, I cannot comment. But only thing is, jo amaro hospital su gale, whatever treatment is given, but during those crucial hours, if the oxygen supply is uninterrupted, you are through. Also suggest if one is capable, Sally go for government COVID hospital or corporate hospital. Ebe to amaro sabu to government ro hi take over hi jaisi. This again is a difficult question for me to answer. Karan ebe to Odisha ra jette kotha kahichi sabu jaka government controlled hi achi actually. Ebe COVID hospital be high tech. There are some issues in transfer from the government to high tech hospital, but this again is a private entity only. Like the things would be better once the Ashwini also comes in. I think you all are getting restless for your next session also. Last question is, Dr. Sir, plasma given to COVID plus positive, is it how long the patient will recover after infusion? No, actually there is no specific duration, but it says that duration to recovery is reduced to the tune of 4 to 5 days. Oxygen dependence is reduced. Time for discharge gets earlier, but that specific duration is nowhere mentioned. Air condition by a neighbor next to the COVID positive will affect anyway. Not really. It is not that you are staying very close to the vent of your neighbor's AC. So if you are very close, that will never be a possible situation. So that is not going to happen. But one who is inside the air condition, they have to be very careful. Can we be affected if any of our neighbors attacked with corona? No, not at all. Nothing to worry. Ajit sir, I have no fever nor cold and cough, but I am feeling suffocated and chest congested. So that's what I'm trying to talk about. Actually, most of the people are actually having lot of stress related symptoms. But if you are feeling that, it is always better to go to the nearby fever clinic, get yourself examined. The simple stethoscope examination will also tell us whether the lungs are really affected or not. So don't hesitate to go to the doctors. That again is a very important point. But mostly looking at your symptoms, I don't think you have anything. If you do not have any baseline lungs or heart related ailments. I think I have come to an end because you have another subsequent meeting also. So I will be sharing those PPTs with Santosh sir and Babul sir. So he can share with you, all of you.
Thank you, Sunil. And I must be very grateful to you for attending the feelings of each and every member who are present here and clarifying their doubts and touching their hearts. Really, Ganjam Chamber of Commerce is proud of Dr. Sunil Kota. A big namaste to you and wishing you all the best. And thanks a lot for a valuable time you have given to all of us. And similarly, as and when required, the Chamber may take your services and we will be in touch with you officially. Thanks a lot. Wishing all the best. Dr. Sunil Kota, thanks a lot. Thank you, PSN Sanapati, Vice President Training. Now, I request all the leaders of all trading organizations who are available in this